There's a simple liquid sitting in your kitchen right now that can wipe out weeds completely, down to the roots, in less than 24 hours. After just one application, those weeds do not return for months. It works on crabgrass, dandelions, thistle, nutsedge, and nearly every invasive plant that takes over lawns and gardens. The surprising part is the cost. A single bottle is only $2 at a grocery store. Long before modern chemical herbicides existed, farmers relied on this exact solution for generations. Controlled university trials have even shown that it can outperform some of the most widely used commercial weed killers. Yet despite all of this, most people have never been told its name. For decades, a massive industry worth billions quietly ensured that this knowledge stayed out of sight. Not because it was dangerous or harmful to soil or water, but because it worked too well. A solution that costs $2 and cannot be patented does not fit into a system designed to sell $40 products season after season. If people realized that the answer to their weed problem was already in their kitchen, the entire business model would begin to collapse. Back in 1971, a researcher at a major agricultural university conducted a field trial expected to last 3 weeks. Instead, it ended in just 4 days. She applied a diluted acetic acid solution to a test plot filled with mixed weeds. By the second day, the broadleaf weeds began to wilt. By the fourth day, everything in that section was completely dead, not weakened, not slowed, but entirely eliminated. She documented everything carefully and submitted her findings. Then she waited. No major company responded. No one requested further data. No funding offers came in. The results sat quietly in an archive for years, untouched by the very industry that should have been interested. That liquid was nothing more than white distilled vinegar made of about 5% acetic acid and water. No additives, no branding, no expensive formula. Yet it had matched or exceeded the performance of synthetic herbicides in controlled conditions. This was not a new discovery. Thousands of years ago, early farmers had already figured it out. In ancient agricultural societies, growers faced the same struggle seen today: unwanted plants competing for water, sunlight, and nutrients. They used fermented liquids, including vinegar, to control growth between crops and along field edges. These methods were recorded and passed down through generations, forming part of early farming systems. In ancient times, engineers also used vinegar to maintain infrastructure. Concentrated acidic solutions were applied to prevent vegetation from damaging stone roads and structures. The principle was simple and effective. When acid comes into contact with plant tissue, it breaks it down quickly, stopping growth before it spreads. During medieval periods, written records continued to document the use of vinegar for controlling weeds in gardens and along pathways. The method remained consistent across cultures and centuries. Wherever fermentation existed, people discovered that acidic liquids could stop unwanted plant growth. It was not guesswork. It was repeated observation and practical knowledge refined over generations. The science behind this process is straightforward. When acetic acid touches plant leaves, it breaks through this protective outer layer. This layer normally prevents moisture loss, but once damaged, the plant begins to dry out rapidly. This process, known as desiccation, causes cells to collapse. Within hours, the plant begins to wilt. Within a day, it is often completely dead. Research studies have confirmed how effective this process can be. At a concentration of 5%, which is the strength found in standard household vinegar, young weeds can be eliminated at rates between 85% and 100% within 24 hours. Higher concentrations increase effectiveness even further, especially against tougher, more established plants. At 20% concentration, nearly all tested weed species were completely destroyed. Another important factor is what happens after application. Unlike many synthetic herbicides, acetic acid does not remain in the soil. It breaks down quickly, often within 48 hours. This means the treated area can be replanted shortly after use. In contrast, some chemical herbicides can remain in the soil for months, affecting future growth and leaving behind residues. Cost differences are just as significant. Over a full growing season, traditional herbicide programs can cost well over $100 for a small residential area. In comparison, using vinegar for the same purpose may cost around $11. The gap is enormous, yet the cheaper option is rarely promoted or even mentioned in most retail garden centers. This leads to an uncomfortable reality. A global market generating tens of billions of dollars depends on people continuing to buy expensive solutions. If a simple, widely available alternative becomes common knowledge, that market faces serious disruption. Large companies have built entire systems around chemical herbicides and specially engineered seeds designed to survive them. If those herbicides are replaced with natural alternatives, the entire structure begins to weaken. Because vinegar cannot be patented, no company can claim exclusive rights to it. Anyone can produce it, sell it, or use it. That makes it impossible to control as a product in the same way as synthetic chemicals. Without exclusivity, there's no long-term profit strategy built around repeat purchases and brand loyalty. Over time, information about natural weed control methods became less visible. Educational programs shifted focus toward commercial products, store shelves filled with branded solutions. Advertising reinforced the idea that effective weed control required specialized chemicals. Gradually, older methods faded from common knowledge. Despite this, the method itself never disappeared. It simply became overlooked. The same bottle that sits under a kitchen sink can still perform the same function it did thousands of years ago. Using it is simple, but technique matters. For young weeds, applying standard white vinegar directly onto the leaves on a dry, sunny day produces the best results. Sunlight speeds up the drying process, making the treatment more effective. Within 24 hours, most small weeds will be completely gone. For tougher, deeply rooted weeds, a stronger mixture can be used. Combining vinegar with salt and a small amount of dish soap increases its effectiveness. The salt helps draw moisture out of the plant, while the soap helps the solution stick to the leaves and penetrate more easily. This mixture should be applied carefully, as it can affect any plant it touches. For areas where no plant growth is desired, such as cracks in driveways or along fences, the same mixture can be applied directly to the ground. The salt content helps prevent regrowth for a longer period. However, this should be avoided in areas where future planting is planned. There are limitations to understand. Vinegar works as a contact herbicide, meaning it affects only what it touches above ground. It does not travel through the plant's internal system to kill roots, as some chemical herbicides do. Because of this, repeated applications may be necessary for very stubborn weeds. Even so, the low cost makes multiple treatments far more affordable than traditional methods. For generations, people used this approach without needing instructions or warning labels. It was common knowledge passed down through families. Over time, that knowledge was replaced by dependence on commercial solutions. The shift did not happen overnight, but the result is clear. Many people now spend large amounts of money solving a problem that once had a simple, inexpensive answer. The liquid is still there, unchanged. The science supporting its effectiveness has been available for decades. The only thing missing is awareness. Once people rediscover it, the balance begins to shift again. Every time someone chooses a simple solution over an expensive one, it challenges the system that depends on that spending. Information spreads, habits change, and what was once forgotten becomes useful again. The next time weeds appear, the answer may already be within reach, sitting quietly where it has always been.